Good afternoon, everyone. Very good. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and media guests. I am Pradeepkumar S. Today I will be the Sergeant of Arms for today's meeting. I welcome you all for the 862nd meeting of Medley Toastmasters Club. Before we begin the meeting, I would like to set the 3 ground rules we usually follow in all the Toastmasters meetings. Please switch off your mobile phones or put them in the silent mode. I will give you 10 seconds. As Toastmasters, we don't discuss about sex, religion, politics, so please do refrain from discussing these topics. Please do not cross-talk or move around when the speaker is delivering speech. Everyone, just as everyone has a mission in their life, so the Toastmaster has. The mission of the Toastmaster is to provide supportive and positive learning experience in which each member is empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in the personal growth. With this, I would please be attentive throughout the meeting and please encourage the speakers with warm smile and applaud. Also, I request the last benches to come forward. I know we all love the last benches, but if any latecomers, they can occupy. You know, we all love last benches. With this, please enjoy the meeting. With this, I hand over the stage to the presiding officer, Barath. So Barath, from the day one I met him, he's super cool. And today I just came to know he's hailed from Sirgali, and he's a very athletic person. He's interested in cricket. Please welcome Barath.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Pradeep, for setting the ground rules of the meeting. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. With the sound of this gavel, I declare Medley Meeting number 862 open. I would like to welcome the dignitaries who has joined us here. Toastmaster Pravda, Area C3 Director. Distinguished Toastmaster Thomas T. Abraham, the past chairman of District 82, and my fellow Medleyians and dear guests. We move into guest feedback. May I invite guest Mukund to please come over here and introduce yourself to the club.
As a matter of introduction, I am Mukund by name. I am an advocate by profession. I am residing in Indranagar, Adayar. I just wanted to actually join Toastmaster as something in my mind was always struggling me that communication is a very important tool to move with people. Be it being a doctor or an engineer or an advocate or a comedian, anyone for that matter. I was searching the website. It was showing so many places. But one thing we always miss out is we can choose any place of our choice. But just because of the distance factor, we will miss out going there. So that prompted me to come to a nearby place, and I found this Medley Toastmaster, but I did not expect that I would be the first speaker. You have surprised with me with imposing the rule on a guest like me. Anyway, I thank you so much for that, because once we avoid an opportunity, we miss out that opportunity. So that is one thing. I thank you, Mr. Srividhya. I'm surprised that you would have, being an athlete, you would have run here also. You do not know the mode of transport that you took. I thought that you are running directly here. Anyway, so this is all about me. Anything that you wanted to know? Nothing.
Advocate touch is there in the speech.
Huh?
Advocate touch is there in the speech. As advocate.
I told myself first. Anyway, very nice meeting you. All kindly enlighten me about the rules or whatever it is.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Mukul.
Right.
Now we have, can we have just Subhash? Can you please come over here and
Hi, I'm Subhash. I used to come to Medley Toastmasters Club before COVID. After that, I got more work in office, so I couldn't come. So now I'm getting. I spent around 3 decades in IT industry, so I took voluntary retirement. So now I hope I can continue here every week. So I'm happy to be here again. Yeah. Thank you.
Today I want to share a small story about small insect about teamwork. We all know, we have seen honeybee, where honeybee goes around fluttering and in all directions. This honeybee is an insect which lives in colony and in a beautiful meadow. And the group of honeybees goes around fluttering, it twins. It flutters around 200 times a minute and it goes in all direction. And to our human eyes, it looks a bit chaotic. And after that, since it goes in all direction without a proper plan. But that is not the case among the honeybees. They are very much planned and they coordinate among themselves so perfectly that some of the bees in that colony, so honeybees live in a colony, so there are some of the bees who protect or guard their hive, and some of them go around searching for nectar, searching for the flowers which have the sweet nectars, and it goes around. And once it finds it, then it communicates back to the other honeybees, and then they go around and then they sit in the flowers and then they get the nectar and then they bring it back to the hive and store it there in the hive. And then there is another group of honeybees who work in converting or transforming this nectar into golden honey, and then they use it for their living and so on. So there is a lot amount of coordination, teamwork, which goes inside these small insects that is unknown or unseen to our eyes. And it so happened once these honeybees were doing, and then there was a summer, and it was a hot summer, and then there was a storm which took place in a particular place, and it blew away all the flowers, and the entire place became dark. And this group of honeybees were not shattered by these external circumstances, whatever has happened, and they followed the same pattern. Some of them remained guarded their hive, and whatever little was there they guarded, and then the rest of the bees went around. They had to go far off from their place, but then they well coordinated, well communicated that they went around, and then they were trying to find flowers where they can find little bit of nectar in it. And once they find, then they communicate back, so the rest of the honeybees can also go and carry. Because honeybee can only carry a small amount of nectar, so they can go around and carry, and then that is how they survived a hot summer, and also the storm which completely took away all the flowers in it. And whatever small they gathered, they protected, guarded, and then the rest of the honeybees work to transforming this honey, this nectar into an honey with which they can survive for the further seasons and all. The main lesson from what we can learn from this is how much they coordinate among themselves in spite of whatever struggles, whatever situation they come in. That doesn't undermine them, but then still they go out and they find ways where they coordinate and bring back that food they need so that they survive. It is a well orchestrated community where the communication is so coherent such that in any kind of situation, any kind of struggles, they will be able to smoothly pass through it. Similarly, a Toastmasters is a community where we support each other and we help each other for their personal growth, specifically in the areas of communication and leadership skills. A Toastmaster is a century-year-old organization which was started in the year 1924 by Dr. Medley, and which has many thousands of clubs throughout India and throughout the world. Toastmasters offers a platform which helps individuals and members to develop their personality or communication and leadership skills. A Toastmasters meeting is generally carried over by a TMoD. Today, to play the role of Toastmaster of a day, we have a Toastmaster who believes in the power of small things. She is an art enthusiast and she works as a project manager in Amazon. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Srividhya as the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you for the great introduction, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. I will be your Toastmaster of today. So the theme of today is Snowflakes and Sparkles. This is aligned with the Christmas festivity around the corner. So just as they say, no two snowflakes are the same. Each snowflake is different. It's different in form, in its journey and its uniqueness. We believe each of us have our own uniqueness and strength. So we are here today to represent as snowflakes, and the speakers today will bring in the sparkles and the audience by way of your applause, your smiles, and evaluators in the form of your evaluations, which will support each of us. So, with great jubilance and enthusiasm, I welcome you all to this session. As the Toastmaster of the day, it's my responsibility to introduce the speakers, to ask the timer, our counter, and Grammarian report, and also call for the votes. So I would like to begin the session with the festive energy by introducing the General Evaluator of today, Toastmaster Ramya. She's a banker turned creative content strategist and the founder of Savya Innovations Private Limited. Welcome, Toastmaster Ramya.
Thank you, TMoD. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Today, I'm the General Evaluator. With me, I have a team who will help me to do my role well. For me, Christmas means a lot of memories. And I would like to share one memory with you all. During Christmas, I will go to my Aakash friend's house and I will pick gifts from the Christmas tree. And I was served with the fritter at that time. I named the fritter as Narendra Bhaji. But later on, I came to know actual name of the fritter. But the same fritter was also served in Nova 2025. I was about to go and tell all my Medleyans that it was Narendra Bhaji served. But luckily, Thomas sir came and saved me. He said it is Parampuri. So with that, around the world, Christmas is celebrated in many beautiful ways. So before introducing each role player, I will be giving an interesting Christmas tradition from different countries around the world. So before the timer, Donald Duck Christmas story. And there is a surprise. I'll not give chocolates, but cake this time. I have plum cakes and other cakes. Which country do you think starts everything at the same time on Christmas Eve? Not for prayers, not for dinner, but to watch Donald Duck on television. Clue: IKEA, Northern Lights. The country starts with the letter yes. First three, please raise your hands. Third one, Rima. With that, I would like to invite the timer. Please welcome our timer, Aakash. He's 18 years old, an athlete, passionate about football. For him, Christmas represents joy and birth of Christ.
Greetings, Mrs. Toastmaster. As a timer, I will time the table topic speakers, formal speeches and evaluations. I will also alert each speaker of the time they have left using the green, yellow and the red, which denote specific time remaining. Table topic speakers should limit their remarks to not more than 2 minutes. At 1 minute I will raise the green card, at 1 minute 30 seconds I will raise the yellow card, and at 2 minutes I will raise the red card. Those giving speeches should limit their remarks to their specific speech time. Icebreakers should be 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes I will raise the green card, at 5 minutes I will raise the yellow card, and at 6 minutes I will raise the red card. Most other speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. At 5 minutes I will raise the green card, at 6 minutes I will raise the yellow card, and at 7 minutes I will raise the red card. The individual evaluations should be between 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes I will raise the green card, at 2 minutes
You're showing
Okay. At 2 minutes 30 seconds I will show the yellow card, and at 3 minutes I will raise the red card. Thank you, Mrs. Madam Toastmaster.
Another story. During Christmas church services, children found it hard to sit quietly, so the person in charge gave them sweet treats to them to be focused. Can you guess the country? Clue. Strong technology, train and automobile parts. People mostly manage homes and other chores without helpers and maids. Beautiful. How many can you come? So just like people listen for silence, here in Toastmaster we need someone to listen for the small sounds. So that brings the art counter, Toastmaster Shanmugavel.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmaster and dear guests. As an accountant, I will note the sounds on pause pillar which are used by each speaker. During the meeting, I will listen the filler words, overused words, as well as repeated words or process. One quote is said, everything has the limit, either pain or anger. If it is uncontrolled, it may lead to a disaster. Like that, in our speech also, we should limit or avoid the filler sounds like im, and the overused words like and, but, so, when, you know. In case of the repeated words like I, this means also should be avoided or limited. I will note all the expressions the speaker used, and I will report to the general evaluator how many times each speaker used this expression. I will submit the report to the last whenever you have.
Thank you. Now another story. During Christmas, people hang a plant in their homes. Tradition says those standing under it should share kind words, smiles, and even a kiss. The country, here is a clue, royal history, carols, and Christmas traditions. Yes?
United Kingdom.
4 people have said this. So words are important. Similar Toastmaster, perfect use of words are also important. So that brings me to a grammarian, Toastmaster Manivel.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters and dear guests. So, thank you to TMoD for setting the context by using the word of the day today. So, I am Manivel. Today, I will be a grammarian. As a grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay a close attention to all the speakers, noticing their languages. I also note down if there is any improper usage and also any outstanding words, quotes, or sayings. So, as a grammarian, it's my responsibility to introduce the word of the day. Since we are in the midst of Christmas and we are filled with happiness, so I thought the word of the day also should resonate the same essence. So, introducing the word of the day, it's jubilant, Jubilant. Jubilant means expressing a great joy or success or happiness. Expressing a great joy, success, or happiness. So, here are some examples. The team was jubilant on winning the challenging tournament. The team was jubilant on winning the challenging tournament. And another example being, Medley Toastmasters are jubilant on receiving the gifts from General Evaluator. So these are all the examples. And I would like to give other few tips on using this word. So this is one of the strong word which expresses the strong emotions, which means whenever you are feeling a very happiness, whenever you are joy bound no limits, you can use the word jubilant. And also, one more tip, make use of the word followed by as reason. I will give you an example. She was jubilant. This is the sentence. It doesn't make a much sense. Instead, you can mention she was jubilant on receiving a promotion in the company, which portrays the reason behind the usage of the word. And another one is whenever you are discussing any context related to happiness, success, or achievements, you can use the word jubilant, and it is an adjective, so make the use of the word properly, and it should be used as adjective and not as verb or noun. I encourage all the speakers to make use of the word during their speeches, and at the end of the meeting, I will come up with the grammarian report. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manivel, for setting up the jubilant mood for this Christmas themed meeting. And now I hand over the stage to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ramya. I hope this session will be filled with joy and sprinkled with cheer, as this is the Christmas edition. We will now move on to the heartbeat of our meeting, which is going to be the speaker sessions. For that, first, I would like to invite the first speaker's evaluator, Toastmaster Rajasekaran, to read out the speech objectives for the first speaker, Toastmaster Anish.
So my last speaker, Toastmaster Anish, is in a visual communication pathway. So we will present a project 2 in level 1. The purpose of the project is to learn or give basic methods for writing speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. So the time limit is 5 to 7 minutes. All this. Thank you.
For this, I would like to welcome Toastmaster Anish. Anish is an attentive listener. He loves to listen to stories, perspectives, and opinions. And he is here to give his speech today for the topic. Toastmaster Anish, the fallen pen, Toastmaster Anish.
Raise your hands if you ever said, I will try. Lot of hands. I said this many times, even more to my dad. My dad is a cool guy, but not a cool guy when I said, I will try. One day, when he told me to do something, I said, I will try. And I was walking out the door. He said, hey, come back. And I was walking towards him, and he said, what did you say? I said, I'll try what you said. And he said, he took his pen from his pocket and he dropped it. And he looked at me and he said, try picking up the pen. So I was confused, but I went with the flow. I went down, I picked the pen, I gave it with ease. He grabbed the pen, he dropped it again. He saw me and I told you to try picking the pen. I was confused and annoyed, but I still took the pen with ease and gave it to him. Then, with a braver voice, he dropped it again and said, "Try picking the pen." I was scared and annoyed, so I told him, "What are you doing? Can't you do it?" He smiled at me and he did what he told. He went down, he reached the pen and he just froze there. And he came back up. He looked at the pen and looked at me. He went down again. This time he was kind of hesitating. Then, after watching him, I asked him, "Why can't you just pick it up? Why are you hesitating?" He said, "When I told you to try picking the pen, you picked it up. But what I did is called trying." And then I was confused and I said, "I don't understand anything." He looked at me and said, "Just like your mom." And then the next day I went to college. This time, not a regular day. My teacher came up to me and said, "Anish, there's a speech contest coming up. Do you want to participate?" I said, "Not sure, but I'll give it a try." And then she turned to my best friend and asked him the same thing. "Are you going to participate?" He said, "I will tell you tomorrow. I'll decide and tell you tomorrow." Now the thing is, I love speeches. I like to listen, I like to see, but making a speech, not my cup of tea. So my friend here went all over the class and asked everyone, "Should I make a speech? Am I a good speaker?" And every single one told him he's a wonderful speaker. But then, since he's my best friend, I'm the only one he trusts. So he came up to me and said, "So Anish, you are the one I believe. Should I do a speech?" I said, "I'm not sure. I'm going to give it a try. You can try too." But I couldn't see the confidence in him when I said that. So when college ended, I went home and I sat there at my study table. I saw a few books laying aside and I saw my computer. When I saw the books, I wanted to make a speech. So I opened the book. I was writing a speech, but then it was very hard. I closed it. And immediately I got a call from my best friend again. He said, "A new video game just dropped. Do you want to play?" I was like, "Sure, let's play it." So the whole night I was just playing video games instead of writing a speech. So the next day, when the teacher came up to me again and asked, "So are you ready with the speech?" I said, "No ma'am, I was studying the whole night. I couldn't make a speech." She asked the same thing to my best friend. He said, "No, me too. I was studying with my best friend and I couldn't make a speech." So the speech contest started. Everyone gave an amazing speeches, but I was sitting there watching them and feeling guilty because when I could do it, why didn't I do it? And I asked my friend the same thing. "You could have done it. Why didn't you?" He said, "I was trying to do it, but I thought of it as an option and started playing video games." That day, I understood after my friend saying, my dad told that when you try something, when you try doing something, when you say try, you often take it as an option and hesitate to do it. When you say try, the job never gets done. When I first said my teacher that I'll try, I was made up that I wouldn't do the speech, but I never know. When we say I'll try in day-to-day life, there's nothing wrong in it, but we know it is an option. We know we can get back, we can forget it anytime we want. It is very simple. It is always a guilty pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anish. That was quite a dramatic play. Thank you for that. We move on to the second evaluator, to Toastmaster Sundaresan, to read out the speech objectives of our next speaker, or I would say the next Snowflakes, Toastmaster Senthilkumar. Yes, Toastmaster Sundaresan to read.
Yes. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Senthilkumar is going to deliver his speech, Pathways Presentation Mastery Level 1, Project Evaluation and Feedback, and it's a second speech. He has already given a speech, he has received the feedback, and now he is going to give a speech so that we can, as an evaluator, I had received that he has incorporated all those feedback. So the purpose of this project is to practice applying the feedback. Good wishes to Toastmaster Senthilkumar. Over to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sundaresan. A few words about Toastmaster Senthilkumar. He is a badminton player. He is an engineering manager working in the software industry, and he believes mind is everything. If the mind is strong, everything falls in the right place. Over to you, Toastmaster Senthilkumar.
Have you ever faked with some reasons to skip your school? Yeah, interesting. The reasons looks like a cough, fever, food poison, loose motion. Once upon a time, when I was working in my first company, I tried to say these serious reasons. But even though when I say this serious reason, they don't allow me to get the leave. They always ask me to connect from home and work. Connect from home, work. How? With this serious condition? I know no other companies works like this, but my company, mysterious. Sometimes there was some reason behind it, because why they don't allow me to take a leave. Because I put the resignation and searching for new job for career growth. You know what I mean career growth? In my language, career growth means the huge package. I tried to attend so many interviews via online, and I got all interviews getting rejection more than my love proposal. So sad.
Sorry.
And finally, I got selected, completed my technical round in some of company, but there was a twist. They asked me to come to complete my final round from their office, so I need to go there directly. But from my mysterious company, how do I take a leave? I got an idea. I killed my grandfather. Yes. To take a leave, I said the reason my grandfather was passed away. Please give me a leave. Surprisingly, they immediately approved it. But my grandfather, for the reason he already died even when I was born. Sorry, grandfather. I went to the interview. I completed. The HR was impressed with my skills. They gave a huge offer, which was more than enough to me. I was so jubilant because I got this offer. I accept the offer, and I promised you that next month I will surely join. Days are went. One day, 5 days before to join the company, I got called from another company for an interview, which is a big company. That was my dream company. I was so surprised, and I also confused because I already got an offer and I promised them to join in next 5 days. But my mind said, this is a big company. If you got offer, they will surely give a big offer to you, which is greater than what you had already. So go and attend. So I decided and to attend the interview. But again, how do I take a leave? Because this big company asked me to attend to everything from their company directly. Again, I need to take a leave. What I will do? Now, my grandma. I said, my grandma was passed away because she could not understand, she could not accept my grandfather's death. I faked it and I went to attend the interview. It was around 3 p.m. I completed 3 rounds and I was so tired and very stressed. And they saw me and they give me some break. I just relaxed and went out to get refreshed. I go to some roadside tea shop. I order one tea. I saw one older woman. She looked like around 70 plus years old. She had a big bag and she had a lot of empty bottles, collected empty bottles with her bag. And she poured one tea and came to me and she asked, can you buy one biscuit? And I said, one biscuit? Why not? Bro, give her 5 biscuits. And she said, no, only one is enough. I said, have it all, eat it later. I tried to convince her, but again, she smiled and politely said to me, dear boy, only one is enough to me. That only one is enough to me. That word hitting into my mind and raised so many questions inside to me. Because, as my understanding, she seems like collecting water bottles to sell for the money. In that case, surely she does not have a huge money. She may ask me to buy a tea also, but she bought with her own money, and she may ask more biscuits, but she asked me to buy only one. She is very genuine to ask this biscuit only one. But my side, I was never genuine. I faked to my current company to take these leaves, and also I never satisfied with already have a good enough package, but still I try to attend a new interviews. These are the things make me to guilty. That where I realized happiness is not about increasing your offer letters. Happiness is to what you had already. Be genuine with what you had already. So I decided, I went back to the big company and said, I already got an offer which is enough to me. Please give this opportunity to who does not have a job already. Thank you for the opportunity. That's what I said. My dear Toastmasters and dear guests, in life, one is always better than another one. Maybe your lifestyle, what you are living, maybe your work, what you are doing, maybe the relationship, what you are having. Be happy with what you have. Be happy with what you have. That's the secret of happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Senthil. Last but not the least, we move on to our last evaluator of today, or rather the last sparkle of today's meeting. I would like to invite distinguished Toastmaster Thomas Abraham to read out the speech objectives of our final speaker, Toastmaster Narendra. Sure, anyway you like.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. You're going to listen to a different project and a speech today, because the next speech that is to come from Toastmaster Narendra is not part of the 15 prepared speeches we do as part of one part. This is a recent refurbishing done by the Toastmaster International, wherein another parallel ladder called leadership has been reinstated. It used to be there. So according to that, today Toastmaster Narendra is going to deliver his speech from the presentation from the Successful Club series. It's always been there. This is meant to help us improve the quality of our meetings. So this is part of the leadership path, like I said, and the topic chosen is pathways, which is truly a magic potion we lock under the cupboard and don't ever use. I'm sure this speech will change us, and I am jubilant that I'm going to possibly be this is going to be the first ever evaluation I do under this scheme. And am I also Medley's first?
Yes.
Oh my, doubly jubilant. So I'll be back here when I'm asked to.
Thank you, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Thomas Abraham. I would like to welcome Toastmaster Narendra, who will be delivering the presentation from the Successful Club series, first of its kind. The Successful Club series is a set of presentations that help members understand how to run a club and conduct quality club meetings. The topic that he will be presenting from the Successful Club series is the Toastmasters Educational Program. He works as a software architect in an MNC called Bounteous. He likes listening to music, playing chess, and watching Netflix series. Welcome, Toastmaster Narendra.
Thank you. Just give us a minute for the screen to load up.
Until he's ready, I'm just going to read out some Christmas fun facts for you till he sets up. So some of the Christmas fun facts, these are all from open sources. Christmas trees were first decorated in Germany in the 16th century. Maybe some of us knew it, some of us did not. These are just tidbits. The tradition of hanging stockings comes from a legend about St. Nicholas leaving coins in socks left to dry. Probably distinguished Toastmaster Thomas could validate all this. Jingle Bells was originally written for Thanksgiving and not for Christmas. Did we know? But we all use it for Christmas. Okay, the colors red and green symbolize life and warmth. Interesting, isn't it? Red symbolizes life and green represents warmth. So that's one fact that I also did not know. Snowflakes are real life wonders. No two snowflakes are similar. Yeah, we just started our meeting with that. That's one more. Santa Claus is known by different names around the world. Did you know he's known as Father Christmas, he's known as Père Noel. Maybe some of us did not know. Christmas is celebrated in over 160 countries around the world. That's a very big festival. The world's largest Christmas tree was made from stacked shopping carts in Italy. Very interesting one. Giving gifts during Christmas became popular only in the 19th century. That's another fun fact. So thanks for the gifts today, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Narendra, are you ready to go?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, TMoD, for buying me some time, and sorry for the small glitch, the technical glitch. So good afternoon, everyone. So you have all heard 2 Power Pack speeches today, and when these speakers were introduced, you would have heard the terms pathway, level, project, and all of these being mentioned. Now, I just want to ask you all, so at this point of time, I think most of you, including the newcomers, you would be familiar with these terms, pathway, level, and projects. But the question that I'd like to ask is, are we making the most out of pathways? Are we getting everything we can out of the projects that we are doing? Maybe the answer is yes, but to ensure that it's yes, we need to first of all understand what pathways is and how to plan for our pathways, the way the pathways is structured, and what are the benefits of this pathways program that's available in Toastmasters. And that is what I'll be doing in my session today, Pathway to Pathways, which is a part of the Successful Club Series presentation. Now, this particular session will help, I hope will be helpful to all of you to get the most out of your pathways after you are done with this session. So having said that, I would just like to
mention the structure for today's session, the topics that I will be covering, so that if in case you think that I am boring you, you will know how long I will keep boring you today. But I hope you find it interesting. So the first thing that I will be talking about is what is exactly pathways, right? So we keep using this term a lot, and everybody has their own definition, so do I. But I think that it will be closer to what Toastmasters International mentions. So what is pathways, and how is the pathways program structured, right? So that, because that is very important in understanding how to plan for it and how to get the best out of it. The third topic that I will be covering is how to plan a pathways, right? Because any effort that we put in, if you don't plan it, be it Toastmasters or outside of Toastmasters, we will not get the best possible results that we want to get. And the last topic that I'll be covering will be the educational awards pertaining to pathways. There are a lot of educational awards, but related to a lot of programs in Toastmasters. But I will be covering the ones that are related to pathways, where pathways has some role to play or is completely the criteria in determining that award. So having said that, let's jump into the first topic that I wanted to cover, which is what is pathways. Any one of you want to give a crack on explaining what pathways is? It doesn't have to be a textbook definition. You can tell your own understanding of what it is. Any one. Okay. Anybody?
Going to the destination.
Okay, so I'm talking about in the Toastmasters context. Yeah. So basically, I'm sure all of you will be knowing, Pathway is the main educational program that is prescribed by Toastmasters to help us improve our public speaking and leadership skills. Basically, everything that we do, every activity that we do in a pathway will help us improve some specific aspect of our public speaking and leadership skills. Remember, public speaking and leadership skills is a very broad umbrella term. There are a lot of granular skills that you can learn within this. So, Pathways gives you the framework to develop these leadership skills and public speaking skills, and it is the main education program that is prescribed by Toastmasters, which every member is expected to follow. It is a very highly organized program, so everything is very structured. You will start with the most simplest of the basics, and then as you move through the pathway, you will start practicing more specific skills related to that particular pathway, which will either help you become a better public speaker or a leader. So the complexity of the projects will increase as you move through the pathways, but not in a very daunting way, but in a very enjoyable way. That is the best part about the Pathways program in Toastmasters. You can really enjoy the projects that you're doing if you do it the right way. And you can learn a lot. It's a fun way of learning, basically. And it's also a flexible program because although the complexity is structured in a gradual increasing order, if you think that you can handle the complexity of a different part of a pathway, then you can jump straight ahead to that path and then come back to the easier paths a little later. So it's very flexible. It's not like in our schools where they will say this semester you're going to study this, and you have to go in that order. You won't have any flexibility. It's very rigid, right? But Pathways is not like that. You can decide your own order of learning. And the next thing is, it is a self-paced program. So you can complete a pathway just 6 months if you want. You can take 1 year, 5 years, or you can even take a break from Toastmasters International, come back and continue your pathway exactly where you left off. So that is the beauty of Pathway. All the progress that you make will not be lost even if you leave Toastmasters and want to come back to Toastmasters after a certain period of time. So it's very easier in that way to sort of help us get through the Pathways program, because we can take our own pace in completing our projects. So now, having explained what Pathways is, like I mentioned, it's a very structured program. Let me go through how it's structured. Like I mentioned, it will start from the simplest of projects or speeches, and it will go up to very complex speeches that is specific to the pathway. So let me just explain how it is structured so that you can understand and get the best out of it. So the first thing is the pathways, right, that we are talking about. There are actually 6 active pathways and 5 legacy pathways. So what do we mean by active pathways and legacy pathways? So when the Pathways program was initially launched, there were 11 pathways that were introduced. But in October last year, I believe, it was reduced to 6 pathways. So those are the 6 active pathways that we have today. But what about the remaining 5 pathways? What about the members who already started working on them? So instead of totally cutting it off, they are now being treated as legacy pathways, meaning the members who started off those pathways will have the option to go through and complete them. But the new members who joined in after October last year, or people who chose a new pathway after October last year, will only have the option to choose from the 6 active pathways and not from the legacy pathways. So it is only there to help with the backward compatibility, to help those members who have completed or who have started that pathway to complete it, right? So currently, technically speaking, there are only 6 pathways right now. The 5 legacy pathways are just there to help members finish off. So can someone mention any of the 6 active pathways that you know of? Anyone? Visionary communication, yes. Yeah, dynamic leadership. Presentation mastery, yes.
Presentation mastery.
Yeah, presentation mastery. Yes.
Motivational strategies.
Motivational strategies.
Persuasive.
Persuasive. Just one more.
Engaging.
Yeah, engaging, yes. So these are the 6 active pathways that we have, and each pathway will help us improve public speaking and leadership skills. So we can, if any new members are picking a pathway, or if somebody who is on the verge of picking a new pathway, then they can only pick from one of these 6. And the 5 legacy pathways that was there before that members are allowed to complete are these 5 pathways: effective coaching, innovative planning, team collaboration, strategic relationship, and leadership. So these are the 5 legacy pathways that are kind of active for the sake of members who already started off. Now, we have looked at what are the different pathways that we have, but how are they organized? Let's look at the structure of individual pathways. Be it, any of the pathways, any of the 6 pathways that you choose from will all be organized in this way. So basically, every pathway, I'm sorry the text is small, but every pathway contains 5 levels, right? Level 1 to level 5. Each level indicating the increasing order of complexity for the projects. Level 1 starts off with the basics, level 5 starts off as the most specific and complex projects. And so, what we must do to complete every level in a pathway? There are certain role requirements that you must fulfill. So basically in this meeting you have already seen the Toastmaster of the Day, General Evaluator, Table Topics Master, and a few more roles that will come up during the course of this meeting. So every member is expected to contribute or play a particular role in a meeting to complete a level. And there are certain roles that they will have to play, and so you have to play certain roles in order to complete a level, and that varies from level to level. The roles that you're expected to play varies from level to level, which I will cover in the next set of slides. And of course, you have to do your projects. So the projects are the speeches or the activities based on which you deliver your speech that is prescribed by Toastmasters, right, for your pathway. And among the projects, there are 2 types of projects: mandatory projects, projects that you are supposed to do, and elective projects. So from level 3 to level 5, you will have elective projects, and you can do X number of projects from those elective projects. So say for example, level 3 has around 10 to 15 elective projects, and you'll be expected to do at least 2 or choose 2 from those choices of 10 to 15 projects, right? So those are the 2 types of projects. And then the new addition which has been introduced with the pathways update, which I think is very useful to all the members who is delivering it or who is listening to it, is the Toastmaster education series. So this is already a part of Toastmasters. It's nothing new, but just that it's being introduced as a requirement to complete a level in the pathway. So there are 3 types of education series that we can conduct: Successful Club Series, Better Speaker Series, and Leadership Excellence Series. So Successful Club Series tells us how to run a club and how to conduct quality meetings. It has a set of topics, and each of these topics will be related to that particular category: how to run a club and how to conduct quality meetings. Better Speaker Series, of course, as the name suggests, it helps us, or it gives us, or it has topics that helps us develop our speaking skills, right? And Leadership Excellence Series, again, as is obvious from the name, it contains topics that are specific to leadership. Either it will speak about a leadership skill or a leadership quality. So these are the 3 types of Toastmasters education series that was already there in Toastmasters, but now it is being brought in as a requirement to complete a level in your pathway. So to summarize, you have to do certain roles. This criteria was also brought in as a part of the recent pathways update that was launched in October this year, October 2025. Complete mandatory projects, selective projects, and then do 1 or 2 presentations from the Toastmaster education series, which will depend on the level, whether you do 1 or 2. Now, let me just go through each and every level. So this is just a broad idea of what all the levels are generally structured. Now, let me just go through each and every level and the specific roles, specific number of speeches, and the education series that you're supposed to do. So for level 1, so this is the most basic level that we start off with. So I have divided it into roles, projects, and education series. So what you see in black, those are the new criteria that have been brought in to complete a level as a part of the pathways update introduced in October 2021. Right? So with respect to the roles for level 1, you will have to do TT speaker and evaluator compulsorily. So the TT speaker must be, or the TT speech must be delivered before you can actually deliver your icebreaker. But if somebody has not been able to deliver your icebreaker, your TT speech before you deliver your icebreaker, we are getting in touch with TMI to confirm if that is okay, because this was brought in the midst of, after a lot of members would have started level 1, but then this update would have come in and they would have delivered their icebreaker speech by then without completing the TT speech. So we are checking with TMI to just verify if it's okay to make an exception for that, and we will update you on that further. And of course, evaluator, the last thing that you do in level 1 is evaluation. And then the optional roles that you can choose from, that is, you can do either one of those 2, are timer or R counter. You can do the timer role or the R counter role. And with respect to projects, of course, you'll have to deliver 4 mandatory projects, starting from icebreaker up to evaluation and feedback. And there are no education series that you'll have to do for level 1. Right? So level 1 is pretty simple. Now, for level 2, again, with respect to the roles, I believe you can all read it, right? So I don't want to go through it one by one. So all the roles that are marked in white are ones that we'll have to do for sure. And all the ones that are marked in yellow, we can pick one of those roles. So the optional roles are TMoD, timer, or R counter. You can just choose one of those 3 roles and you can do that. With respect to projects, and the difference starts only in level 2. So for every pathways, level 1 will look the same in terms of the projects. You will have the same set of projects across all pathways in level 1. The difference in the projects will only start from level 2. Right? So you have to do 3 mandatory projects. Right? And most of the projects will be similar, but one project might be different between each of the levels. And with respect to the education series, again, you don't have to deliver anything for level 2 yet. Moving on to level 3, again, you have to do a set of roles. And there is, so among the optional roles, you have TT master, TT speaker, and then there's something called as introductory mentor. So what is that introductory mentor? So as soon as you complete level 2, you will get access to another educational program called as Pathways Mentor Program in your base camp. Right? I will cover base camp in the next set of slides. So you have the option of choosing that particular education program after you complete level 2. But if you have not yet chosen that, then you can take up this introductory mentor role. So basically in this particular role, what you do is you help out another member to either deliver their speech or to do a particular role. You just guide them to fulfill one of the speech objectives that they have or the leadership objectives that they might have, right? So you help them out. Now here we have just 2 questions that we are confirming with TMI. The first question is, how do we show the proof for introductory mentor? So basically, for every role that you do, you will have to collect the agenda and the MOM of that particular meeting to say that you have done that role. So that is the proof that you have done that role, right? So you have to collect that agenda and MOM for every role that you play, be it in Medley or outside of Medley. But for introductory mentor, we don't capture it in the agenda, or we don't capture it in the MOM. So where can we show that proof? So we are trying to confirm that. And the second thing is, when you're doing introductory mentor, should the person you're helping be your protege compulsory? So basically you can take on someone as your protege after you complete level 2 and step into level 3. So the question is, should that person you're helping out be your protege for sure. We believe that the answer is not, it's not strictly necessary, but still we're trying to get that confirmation. So that introductory mentor is a new type of role that you can take up in level 3 if you want to take that up as an optional role. Then of course with respect to projects, this is where the electives start off. So you will have to do one project mandatorily, and then you will have options to choose from 10 to 15 projects. You'll have to pick any 2 of those projects as elective projects, right? And you can discuss with your mentor to decide which project will be more suitable, and you can pick any project accordingly. And then with respect to education series, this is where it starts. So you'll have to deliver one successful club series presentation, right? So basically there are a lot of topics in successful club series presentation, about 15 topics or so. But you cannot present all of those, or you cannot choose from all of those topics in level 3. There are a certain set of topics meant for level 3. You will have to pick about 4 topics. You'll have to pick one of those topics for level 3 and then deliver that as a speech. So the one that I'm doing today is a successful club series presentation. So something similar to this. And for level 4, again, there are different roles. With respect to the optional role, as you can see, there are 2 things there. One is specialized role. So what is specialized role? So in every meeting we have TMoD, GE, Table Topics Master, Evaluators, Tag, and so on. But there could be other roles specific to your club. Like for example, Listening Master. What Toastmaster Priyadashini Pilot did in the previous meeting, right? So she listened to all the speeches and asked us questions. So Listening Master is one such role. Master Evaluator, a person, a role player who would evaluate evaluators' evaluation. So basically the evaluators will deliver an evaluation, and the Master Evaluator will just give their feedback on that evaluation. So that is also a specialized role. So roles that are not a part of a regular meeting come under specialized roles. So if your club offers that role and you play that role, you can use that as one of the options for level 4. The rest of them are pretty straightforward. And of course, projects, 1 mandatory project, 1 elective project. And with respect to education series, you will have to do 1 successful club series presentation and 1 better speaker series presentation, right? So again, with respect to successful club series, you'll have a set of topics for level 4 which you can choose from. And with respect to better speaker series, there is no such restriction. You can pick from any of the available topics for better speaker series. Okay? And level 5 again. So I actually missed to mention one particular point in level 4 which also applies to level 5. I'll cover it here. So as you can see among the optional rules, so first you have the mandatory rules. Playing the general evaluator twice, TMoD twice, evaluator twice, right? And among the optional rules, you see the last thing mentioned as repeat a mandatory rule. So if you don't want to do any of those rules that I mentioned among the optional rules, you can do GE the 3rd time, or TMoD the 3rd time, or evaluator the 3rd time. Repeat a mandatory rule, right? So that is also an option among the optional rules. And that also applies to level 4. So you can repeat a role that a mandatory role that you already did, and you can just choose that as an optional role. And among the projects, you have 2 mandatory projects and 1 elective project. And of course, every pathway ends with every pathway begins with a project called as Icebreaker, and it ends with a project called as Reflect on Your Path. That is where you would try to write a speech that encapsulates everything that you've learned in that pathway and how you've applied it both within and outside Toastmasters. So that is the final speech that you deliver in level 5 and in your pathway subsequently. And for education series, you will do a successful club series presentation, right? So again, for level 5, you will have a set of topics that you can choose from. And then you will have to do 1 presentation from Leadership Excellence series, which speaks about leadership qualities and skills. So let me just, so this is just an overview of the successful club series presentation topics that you can pick, right? So for, as I mentioned, for level 3, so basically there are totally like, I think about 11 topics that you can choose from for successful club series presentation. For level 3, you can choose from one of those 4 that is mentioned here. Again, level 4, one of those 4. Level 5, one of those 3, right? So when you go to that individual level, make sure that that particular topic you're picking is accessible for that particular level. Don't pick a topic for level 4 as a part of level 3. That will not work. And again, better speaker series, you only do it for level 4, and you just have to deliver 1 topic from the better speaker series presentation. And there are about 10 topics that you can choose from. And level 5 again, Leadership Excellence series, you will have to do one presentation, if you recall. There are 11 topics you can choose from, and you can deliver any one. So these are the different types of topics, and I will put this presentation in the group, so don't worry about it. You can refer it there. So that is the structure of the pathways, right? So this encapsulates everything, the pathways update and the existing whatever we were doing in the pathway, right? So now moving on to the third part of this presentation, which is planning a pathway, right? So now you know what a pathway is, how is it structured. So how do you plan it now that you know all of these things? Because you need to plan your effort in pathway because things can get tricky very quickly, right? So this particular thing with respect to choosing a pathway, I'm sure all of you would have chosen a pathway. I will very quickly go through this. So as you can see here, there are so all the 6 active pathways can be categorized into 3 groups. First one is speech writing and delivery. So the first group, it purely focuses on public speaking, right? How to write a speech, how to engage the audience, how to capture their attention and retain it, everything, right? And there are 2 pathways that helps you, or that falls under this group. It's presentation mastery and engaging humor. So presentation mastery and engaging humor is purely meant to develop your public speaking skills, not related to leadership. The other 2 groups, that is related to leadership. So interpersonal and strategic communication, basically it helps you, so when you're a leader, whether you're leading a small team or a big company, you always work with your team, right? Your outcome as a leader is actually entirely dependent on how your team performs, right? It's not an individual game. So you need to be able to work with the team and get the best out of the team. And this second group of pathways, which is motivational strategies and dynamic leadership, helps you to figure out how to get the best out of your team. So every project in that particular pathway, or at least from level 3 to level 5, will help you understand how to work with the team, how to understand a team, how to work with the team, and how to get the best out of them. Right? And then finally, you have innovative leadership. Basically, as a leader, as an individual, you should also have certain qualities, like being able to articulate a vision clearly, so that it's not lost in translation. And then negotiation skills, right? And decision-making skills. So these are skills that you should possess individually as a leader, even before you could work with a team. And this group of pathways helps you develop that. Right? So there are 2 pathways in this particular group. One is visionary communication, and the other one is persuasive influence. So you can just make it out from the name that they belong to this particular group. So depending on what your need is, whether you want to become a good speaker, a good leader, or a good team player, you can choose the pathway that you want to take up. Right? So the next time you pick a pathway, maybe consider this. And then the next thing is choosing electives for your pathway. So we saw about we went through the elective projects. Now, when you're picking an elective project, try to pick a project that is relevant to your pathway. For example, if you're doing dynamic leadership, for level 3, there's an elective for connect with storytelling. Yes, as a leader, you need to be able to tell stories and you need to do all of that. But there could be other projects, that elective projects for level 3, which would be more appropriate to dynamic leadership than connect with storytelling. So try to, because you would have picked a pathway for some reason, right? For example, with dynamic leadership, how to understand the dynamics of your group and how to navigate the team based on that. So try to pick a project that is relevant to that particular pathway. Right? And the second point kind of builds on this first point is try to pick an elective project that helps you to build that particular leadership skill or that public speaking skill that you're trying to develop. So as I mentioned earlier, leadership and public speaking is like an umbrella term, right? There are a lot of granular skills that you need to be a better leader and better public speaker. And you might be, so when you're working on a pathway, you might be having some sort of that granular skill in your mind that you want to develop. So try to pick an elective that helps you to develop that particular granular public speaking skill or leadership skill, right? So for example, in public speaking skills, you might want to be a good storyteller, right? So there, connecting with storytelling makes sense, right? So try to think along those lines. And please don't pick electives based on their complexity. One of the temptations that we have is certain electives, you can do it easily, certain electives it'll be a little difficult, and certain electives you can complete it quickly, you can even deliver it next week. But certain electives will take like 3 to 6 months to deliver. So don't be faced by any of that. Right? Don't think about complexity or the time that it takes to complete an elective, while choosing an elective. Purely pick it based on the first two categories. Now comes the next most important thing when it comes to planning a pathway. This is the most important one. How do you progress in your pathway? This is very, very important. So when you are planning for your pathways, the first thing is you have to figure out what pace will be comfortable for you, right? You know your work commitments, you know your personal commitments. So based on that, take a decision on what would be the ideal pace, or how frequently can you deliver a speech based on whatever your life is looking like, right? So ideally, you should be able to deliver one prepared speech per month. That is reasonable. One prepared speech per month is reasonable. It usually takes about 3 to 4 weeks to properly prepare for a project and to deliver that project. Sometimes, yes, we can write a speech overnight as well, but the feeling of satisfaction that you get when you really get into a project and do it right, try to imbibe the value from that project, doing that is much more valuable than just completing the project for the sake of completing it, for the sake of making progress. So ideally, spend 3 to 4 weeks in completing a project. So taking that into account, you can easily deliver one prepared speech per month. And while you are writing the prepared speech and trying to prepare for it, you can complete the meeting rules. So as you know, meeting rules is a requirement now to complete the levels in pathways. You can plan to complete your meeting rules while you're preparing for your speeches in your pathways. And the next section is with regards to the elective projects. So like I mentioned, certain elective projects will take 3 to 6 months, right? Don't get to level 3 or level 4 and then find out that the project takes 6 months to complete, because that can be very, very demotivating. Because then you start thinking, oh, okay, for 6 months I can't do anything, I can't make any progress and I will be where I am. So what you should do is, even when you're beginning your pathway, you should start looking at level 4 and level 5 projects. You should go through what that particular what those projects are, the elective projects are, try and figure out what you need to do, and then make sure that you start planning for level 4 and level 5 projects while you're still doing level 1. So that way, even if you find out a particular project takes 6 months, by the time you get to level 4 and level 5, you would have already done the work, right? So to have this sort of a long-term thinking, you definitely have to sit down and discuss with your mentors. This is where mentor-protege relationship becomes very, very important in your success in Toastmasters and outside of Toastmasters as well, right? So sit down with your mentor, try to understand the elective projects, and then you try to come up with the plan and just validate it with your mentors, right? Because that way you learn more. If our mentor spoon feeds us everything, then you don't learn much then. Maybe ask them specific questions like what is this project, or any specific details about a particular project. But you plan your pathway and validate it with your mentor to see if it will work or not, right? So work with your mentor. And the next most important thing is, let the VP of the club know what your pathway's goal is and what your pathway's plan is for that particular term. So as you know, VP will change from term to term. So every term, even before it begins, so now we are at the cusp of ending this current term and beginning the next term. So let the VP know that, this is my plan for completing for the upcoming term. This is my goal for this upcoming term. So that way the VP will take that into consideration when trying to allocate speech slots, when trying to manage the roles and all of those things, right? So please make sure the VP knows about it. And the next point is, go beyond the club. If you're just relying on your club for roles and speech slots, you may not get that many opportunities. There are so many Toastmaster clubs out there that would love to have speakers in their meeting, that would love to have role players in their meeting. And Medley has been a flag bearer, for going beyond the club, right? So there are so many people in Medley who have gone outside the club and who have raised the standards of other club meetings as well. So I would recommend all of you, at some point in your pathway or your levels, try to go outside of Medley to a club that meets in person preferably, or if you're okay with virtual, then if your mentor also suggests that, then fine. So go to another club, try to take up a role there. So that will give you the exposure on how different Toastmaster clubs operate, and also how, it will also help you build contacts, right? You need contacts after a certain point in Toastmasters. Otherwise you cannot progress. Your leadership journey you will not be able to progress. So you need that contact, and start building it now while you're doing your pathways. And if you do all of this, you can complete your pathway, one pathway in approximately 2 years. So basically, you will have to complete 15 projects, 5 education series presentations, and 21 roles to complete a pathway. So if you follow this, you can complete a pathway in 2 years, right? Give or take. And the next thing is with regards to Basecamp. Now, in the interest of time, I will just cover this very quickly. I had a few more things lined up here, but I'll just cover it very quickly. So, what exactly is Basecamp? That is the digital hub for all of our pathways needs in Toastmasters. So, Basecamp is the source of truth of our pathways progress. So, let's say you completed level 1, you delivered all the speeches and you did everything, but in your Basecamp you have not updated the progress. Then in that case, it means that you have not completed level 1 yet. So what is there in Basecamp is what Toastmasters International will see as the source of truth. And so you have to make sure that you keep it updated all the time. Right? As soon as you deliver a project today, go to Basecamp and complete that particular project right away. Because if you keep postponing it, then it will get to a point where it could become a little bit troublesome to go back and complete it. And actually, a few of our members, they completed level 1 before this Pathways update was introduced. But since they were not able to update it in Basecamp, now they have to repeat that level again to once again complete the roles. Not the speeches, that progress will remain, but they have to complete the roles and then they'll have to submit the level submission again. So please try to keep your Basecamp updated so that you can make good possible use of, you can show your progress. And also you can get all the Pathways resources there. So if you are looking for your project manual and evaluation results, you don't have to scamper, you don't have to ask anyone. Just go to Basecamp, open your project. The very first page in that project will give you the project manual and the evaluation results. So download that, go through it, and then send the evaluation results to your evaluator well ahead of time, so that they can also go through the project manual and the evaluation results, and they can come prepared with proper evaluations. So I had quite a few things marked here, but in the interest of time, I would like to move forward. And of course, with respect to recognitions, yes, when you complete a level or when you complete a pathway, you will be recognized by Toastmasters International. You will get a Pathways badge, you will get a certificate, which is what you get in district events, division events, and all that. So those certificates are coming from TMI, right? Not district issued certificates or division issued certificates. So it's a recognition from TMI. And also when you complete a pathway, you will get email from the international president. Right? So the international president will send you a personal email congratulating you on, because finishing a pathway is a huge accomplishment. It takes 2 years of consistent effort minimum, right? So you will get an email from the international president of Toastmasters. So who's the international president now for this current year for Toastmasters International? Aleta. So she is the international president, and so yes, if you complete a pathway, you will get a letter from her. And of course, employee letter, certificate of proficiency. So those are self-explanatory. And now the final part of this particular session is educational awards related to pathways, or where pathways has some role to play. So the first and the most important educational award is the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. This is the highest educational award that is available in Toastmasters, and your pathways progress will play a role in achieving the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Now you may ask, why should we go for Distinguished Toastmaster? I'm very happy to just deliver speeches. I don't want to take a leadership track. I don't want to go for Distinguished Toastmaster title. Well, it gives you a great sense of satisfaction and a great sense of pride when you achieve the Distinguished Toastmaster title. And also to achieve the Distinguished Toastmaster title, it will take 5 years. You have to, I'll explain why. It will take 5 years, and if you can stick through something for 5 years and deliver it, do it consistently for 5 years, then it will give you, a great deal of confidence. You will think that, okay, if I can do this, I can do anything else, be it in my work or my personal space. You will have that confidence that you can achieve anything. So please, everyone present here, try to go for the Distinguished Toastmaster title, and you will really enjoy the process of doing it, and it will be really rewarding. So next up is how you can become a Distinguished Toastmaster. So can anyone tell me some of the criteria that you know for a Distinguished Toastmaster title to achieve it? Not details. 2 pathways. Yes, 2 pathways. Then? Yes. XCOM. How many XCOM roles? 2 roles. So during the XCOM roles, you have to make sure that you are involved in preparing the club success plan, and also that you attend the officers training program. So you have to do both of these as well, in addition to serving your XCOM roles. And it can be any of the 7 XCOM roles. Of course, immediate past president is not considered, but any of the 7 XCOM roles from president to SA. And then is the district officer or the club coach option. Yes.
Not necessarily need to do 2 XCOM roles. It can be for a period of 1 year. If they are in an XCOM, even if they do 1 role also, it's fine.
Okay.
Since many clubs have a period of 6 months, we generally have 2 XCOM roles.
Okay.
Certain clubs have an XCOM role for 1 year. In that case, even if they do 1 XCOM role also, that's fine. Basically, they need to serve as an XCOM officer for 1 year.
Okay. So there are clubs like Meraki Advanced Toastmasters Club, which has a term for actually the whole year. Like their XCOM changes only once a year. So in that case, yes, 1 XCOM role. So the third criteria is district officer or club coach. So district officer role is either area director role, division director, club growth director, PQD, and then district director. So there are a lot of roles. So if you just go to the District 120 website, you will see all the district roles that you can play. So you can either do a district officer role, or there's an alternate to that. You can do a club coach role. Right? So basically, a club coach is someone usually an experienced Toastmaster. They will get assigned a club by the district. So basically, a club that is struggling, a club that is dwindling on the verge of closing out. So they will be losing their members very rapidly, and then they'll be trying to rejuvenate their club. So a club coach will be specifically assigned to such struggling clubs to turn them around, to turn their meetings around, and to make them more stronger. So you need to make the club a distinguished club in order to achieve the club coach credit. So there are a lot of actually criteria to achieve the club coach credit, but if you don't want to do district officer role, then doing club coach or taking up club coach is another alternative. And then of course club mentor or club coach. Club coach we already discussed. So club mentor is where you will be, so when a new club is started, you will be assigned as a mentor to that new club. Right? So as the club mentor, you will have to guide the XCOM of that particular club, because it's a newly formed club. The XCOM or the members, no one will have idea on how to run the meetings and how to run the clubs. So as a mentor, you will be showing them how to run the club, what are the processes they should establish, what are the roles, or how to run the meeting. So you will have to be the mentor for them. And then of course club coach we already discussed. And then club sponsor, youth leadership program, and speech club program. So you can do either one of these 3 as well. So club sponsor, so when a new club is started, it needs to be chartered for it to be considered officially as a club. And so until the club gets chartered, you will have to you'll have to help them with the chartering of the club. Right? So basically, the club mentor will help the club to run. To understand the process on how to run the club and how to run the meetings. And the club mentor engagement is for 6 months. Right? I forgot to mention that it's for 6 months. But for club sponsor, once the club is chartered, your role is done. Right? So usually it takes about a few meetings. The club sponsor completes their engagement much before the club mentor. And youth leadership program and speech craft program, please try to go to the Toastmasters International website and try to find out. So they are they are educational programs just like Pathways. Please try to find out about that. And finally, you have to do the Distinguished Toastmasters project. So this is where you have to design your own project and then deliver that project. So the Distinguished Toastmaster project will help you, that is the last step in becoming a Distinguished Toastmaster. So once you complete all of these criteria, then you can apply to be a Distinguished Toastmaster. There's an application form in TMI website. You have to apply to be a Distinguished Toastmaster. TMI will review it, and if everything matches out, they will confer you with the Distinguished Toastmaster title. And there are of course a few more educational awards related to Pathways. I'll quickly go through them. So Triple Crown, you must complete 3 unique levels. So level 1, level 2, level 3 in one Toastmaster year. And a Toastmaster year starts in July current year and goes on until June of next year. So 3 unique levels. And then Pathways Champion, you have to complete an entire pathway in a Toastmasters year. And Rockstar Award, you have to do all the roles twice in each term of the Toastmaster year. In term 1, you have to do all the roles twice. In term 2, you have to do all the roles twice. And then complete 2 levels in your pathways across the entire Toastmaster year. So these are the educational awards that we have. And one small thing that I would like to mention is, as I mentioned, you have to set up your plan for every term. And for this particular term, we have the roster sheet available in our group. So please discuss with your mentors and set up your plan for your pathway. And make sure that you try to get their inputs and plan your pathways, goals and plans, and let me know about it. And we can also you can also fill up the meeting slots that you will need, the roles that you need, and speech slots that you will need in that roster sheet. So that will be helpful for us to plan as a club on how to move forward with this term. So that's it. For Q&A, in the interest of time, I've gone way over time, I know that. And I can already see the expectations of some of your face when this guy will wind up. So I'll wind up for now, but definitely, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me after the meeting. I will be happy to answer. Okay, thank you so much, and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Narendra. I would now request the timer Toastmaster Aakash. Before that, I think it was a very insightful and detailed session. I'm sure we had a few takeaways from here. And Toastmaster Narendra, you made the job of the mentor a little easier. I think you covered a lot of points here. Can I call upon the timer Toastmaster Aakash to list the qualified speakers for today?
All speakers are qualified.
Yeah, read the names.
Toastmaster Anish, should I read the?
No, that you can read later. You just give the names.
Toastmaster Anish, Toastmaster Senthil, Toastmaster Narendra.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aakash. I now hand over the stage to the General Evaluator to perform her role.
Before calling the Evaluator, Toastmaster Rajasekaran, a small Christmas tradition. Christmas dinner in this country, it does not mean turkey or cake. Instead, families line up weeks in advance for fried chicken.
Japan.
Beautiful. Actually, in Japan, it was challenging to find traditional Christmas turkey, and KFC management tabbed it introducing Kurisumasu Niwa Kentucky, which translates to Kentucky for Christmas. Okay, that's the light bulb moment and marked it as a party barrel for fried chicken. With that, let's welcome our first evaluator, Toastmaster Rajasekaran Mogan. Rajasekaran Mogan is a dedicated public servant with over 15 years of experience in the civil aviation industry. His favorite quote is, "Life's too short to play small with our talents." For him, Christmas means music everywhere, choirs, joyful voices, good vibes, and of course, special biryani and plum cake. Please welcome our evaluator, Rajasekaran Mogan.
Good afternoon all. So my dark speaker Anish has completed his project 2, writing speech with purpose. So we'll see how it goes. So he began with a jubilant opening that captivated the audience attention. So what is his introduction like? So he asked very simple and relatable question. So how many of you will ask will tell the answer to that question? I will try. So it's very relatable, right? Almost all the hands were up, as I can see that. That was a good thing. And he tried a few vocal varieties too. For example, his father and her, I think, ma'am, college ma'am. Another one is he has a very good hand gestures and very good stage movements too. And he appears very comfortable on stage throughout the speech. That I like very much. Most importantly, the message, what he said is, so whenever we say, I will try, we are taking that option, not doing that, okay, without any conviction on doing that same. So I have only one recommendation for Anish, that is eye contact. So I have seen throughout the speech he just focus on one area. So small tip is you can just focus on all the corners so that it's look like you're covering all the audience. To summarize, Team Anish ticked all the boxes on the project writing speech with purpose, with light-hearted and easily relatable stories. With improved eye contact, its speech will elevate to next level. Over to Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Before calling the next evaluator, in one country, people keep their brooms safely inside the house on Christmas Eve. People believe that Christmas night evil spirits and witches might come out, and they didn't want them to steal the brooms. Clue: cold winters, beautiful northern lights, strong Christmas tradition. Beautiful. Well done, good job. First. No, for her. So that brings our evaluator, Toastmaster Sundaresan sir. He's a passionate Toastmaster for past 23 years and a motivational speaker for youngsters, covering schools and colleges. For him, Christmas is all about celebration mood, exchanging wishes, and a special tradition. His Goan friend brings a delicious plum cake every year. Let's welcome our evaluator, Toastmaster Sundaresan sir.
Thank you, General Evaluator. For the speaker, Toastmaster Senthilkumar, who delivered his speech with that beautiful title, Secret of Happiness. You all know what's happiness, and I was much curious when you said the secret of it, and your speech has justified that secret also from your perception. Being a second speech, I was noting down the points of the previous evaluator also. First, let me cover those points. Certainly, you have worked on those points and you have implemented those points in your second speech on body movements. Yes, practice well. Yes, later I will comment also. Stage usage well, and vocal variety up to the mark. So these are the previous evaluators' points which you have covered. Coming to the speech content, here and there were a lot of humor by nature you have plugged in your speech. It was interesting to hear. Like career growth for me is huge package. Well, you all youngsters, not only here, your hands will go to the maximum extent also, showing the huge package. It was nice. And every time when you said that leave, you created the story as a crisis for you and how you managed it. You also mentioned killing grandfather. Thank God, don't kill anyone here. And then the twist in the story justified that one lady, her logic, her perception changed your view also. Your narration was pretty good in that speech content. That was the crux of your speech. And you mentioned that she said, when you offered more biscuit, one is enough for me. That's enough, that's a magic word. Normally it's difficult for all of us. Let me confess also, one is not enough for all of us, including the samosa which will be coming now. And saying that it needs a lot of abundance in heart and generosity in nature. So you understood that particular point and you referred to and you reflected in your crisis on that day how you are going to mention in the career, and you became sincere and you went and conveyed those words sincerely that this is the thing where I stand and what I need exactly, not more than that. And your conclusion was awesome by telling that be happy with what you have. Well, it's even though it's easy, it's possible. So you made it twice, be happy with what you have. Having said that, please, as an area of improvement, friendly suggestions, I say, please work out on the flow of words, the smooth flow of words, links with the audience. We travel with you when you give a speech. So this will help us. And there were humor you have plugged in, but you can give a bright smile also. Here and there, give a bright smile that we'll know that you are also enjoying your speech and we are also with you. And give more emphasis when there is that turning point, that narration between you and that lady is the turning point. Emphasize that particular point so that the message will reach the audience. So overall it was excellent and you have crossed this speech objectives also. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmasters. So, before calling the next evaluator, in one country, Christmas excitement reaches its peak with a grand Christmas lottery, watching live by the entire nation. Here is the clue. Anybody knows the answer before giving the clue?
Is it USA? Canada?
Singapore.
Please wait. Let me give the festivals. This is the very important clue. Football, soccer.
Spain.
Who said Spain? Who said Spain?
Spain.
Anish, you said Spain?
Anish. I think Anish.
Don't worry, I am. So the Christmas lottery in Spain called El Gordo brings people together in hope, joy and celebration, reminding us that Christmas is about togetherness. So that brings our evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Thomas sir. So, Thomas sir is the highest medley attendance since 2015. Two-time district contestant, two-time triple award winner, three-time speaker citation recipient, and two-time distinguished Toastmaster, and Medley's first Golden Gavel president. He loves Christmas carols, especially one of the most famous of them, Silent Night. He recorded and sent me to WhatsApp. To time constraint, I don't have a speaker, I couldn't play. So can I share that in the WhatsApp? That was a very nice song. Thank you, sir. With that, I welcome our next evaluator, Distinguished Toastmaster Thomas, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon. And today's educational speaker, there you are. You know, influenced by the doctors that we have in this club, I was visualizing when I was listening to him, a doctor having to teach nursing students the the human physiology. What would you do? I guess if I were to do it, I would show three graphs, the three pictures. One, the internal organs. Second, the bone structure. Third, the muscle formation. I think the task that you had today, Toastmaster Narendra, was as complex as that. Except that here nothing moved. There things moved. So what could you do? Before I come to what could you do, which is what I've been asked to do as part of the evaluation by the manual, let me say what I liked generically as a speaker for you. I liked your confidence, your mastery over the subject, your earnestness. That's a triangle under which you worked. And obviously, you used the right hand quite emphatically, but the left hand was passive. Then I noticed that you used color coding, which is very smart thinking. I've been asked to locate something differently that you did, where I compliment you, and you obviously, we know, you have great facility with the words. So this is the bunch of positives that helped you do this difficult task. So I'm going to answer the questions given to me, 9 of them. For want of time, I will not go into that, but trust me, I'm answering it now. First of all, I imagine you talked about the structure very well, but just like the 3 systems of the human physiology, I saw 3 systems, and I would have shown visuals of that. One is the 15 projects you have to do as one path, each divided into 5 levels, and it explains what each level does: primary, mastery, etc. Then I would have shown a second table talking about the roles required from level 3, 4, 5. Third, I would have shown the education series. You said there are 3 educational series. The problem with human physiology for the nurses and as also pathways terminology, they're like phantoms. They run away. So I would have shown these visuals. A few more thoughts if I may. 3 questions you asked, which is a smart thing to do. Your tone was authoritative, but some variety would have helped. Third, base camp. Base camp is a monster for us. Show the visual, because I don't deal with base camp as a word, I deal with as a visual. That familiarity would help. And when someone said that pathways gave a generic definition, you said no and you said what it is here. Maybe that's a smart thing, but in Toastmasters situation, this is this given meaning to the metaphor gives image enhancement for the speaker, for the person. Lastly, there are quite a few non-core things like DTM. I know it's there within the firmament, but I would probably not take it because that's a story by itself. I would not even talk about the awards. I would stay with the core. I'm looking at Dr. Pravda because I'm imagining what she will tell the nursing students, in that context. She will not talk about diseases and all that, like lifestyle. They come at another level. So this is my basic thought. You were earnest, you used your knowledge. Question is, was it an informative speech or a persuasive speech? That transition, you could probably be helped by what happened to you. If you didn't read the manual, how did you do? If you read the manual, what did you do? That would have brought a bit of persuasion along with knowledge transfer, my thought. Over to you, ma'am.
So timer, please, can you tell the qualified evaluators? Timer, Toastmaster Aakash, can you give the qualified evaluators? And also you can come here and give your timer report, please.
All the evaluators are qualified: Toastmaster Rajasekaran, Toastmaster Sundaresan, Toastmaster M. Qualified speakers and prepared speeches are: Toastmaster Anish took 5 minutes 22 seconds, Toastmaster Senthilkumar took 6 minutes 20 seconds, Toastmaster Narendra took 24 minutes and 59 seconds. And for evaluations, Toastmaster Rajasekaran took 2 minutes, Toastmaster Sundaresan took 2 minutes 46 seconds, Toastmaster Abraham took 2 minutes 51 seconds.
Thank you. Can I call upon the R counter? Toastmaster Shanmugavel.
Good afternoon once again. This is my accountant report. Please find it in jubilant manner. First, our proceeding officer, Barath, he has used the word "and" many times. Then our guest, Mohan, lawyer, is the lawyer. That's why he has managed, even though he has used and a couple of times, the speech was very interesting. Then the guest was clear speech. Then TMoD, Srividhya, clear speech. Then General Evaluator, clear speech with Then Grammarian, clear speech, Manivel. Then first speaker, Anish, clear speech, even though he used try 4 times, the word try 4 times, and a couple of times it is, and couple of times some pass also. Then his evaluator, Rajasekaran, is also clear speech except couple of Then second speaker, Senthilkumar, couple of and several times he used the word I, and couple of times pauses also. And his evaluator, Sundaresan, clear speech, but he has used many times. And the third speaker, Narendra, the speech was very nice. As the speech time was more than 20 minutes, he has used several times, especially the word having said that, and he has used many times. And then his evaluator, TM Thomas, clear speech.
Now I call upon Toastmaster Manivel, the Grammarian, to read the reports.
First of all, I am jubilant on hearing the word of the day used by the speakers. Not once or twice, but 6 times throughout the meeting. So thanks to Toastmaster Srividhya, thanks to Toastmaster Ramya, thanks to Toastmaster Senthilkumar, thanks to DTM sir, Toastmaster Thomas Abraham sir, thanks to Toastmaster Rajasekaran, thanks to Toastmaster Shanmugavel sir. So throughout the meeting I have found some few words. So I tried to find the meaning of few words which may differ based on the context used. So Toastmaster Barath used orchestrated and coherent. Orchestrated means carefully planned or arranged. Coherent, it's clear and logical. And Toastmaster Ramya have dropped up an idiom, light bulb moment, which means a sudden moment, a moment of sudden insight. And Toastmaster Anish reiterated the importance of doing by dropping in, stop trying and start doing. And Toastmaster Senthilkumar have used be genuine with what you have. Be genuine with what you have, which we need to instill in our day-to-day endeavors to take upon. And DTM Thomas Abraham sir used reinstated, which means brought back. And Toastmaster Narendra used granular, which means focusing on fine details. And broad umbrella, which is an idiom which means covering different ideas or groups. And another word is daunting, which means it seems difficult, especially before you begin, which means like it also goes like looks scary but possible. And another word is backward compatibility, which goes like system or product that works well with old version or formats also. And there is another word used by Toastmaster Narendra, which is called encapsulate, which captures the essence in few words. And he also used another word, flag bearer. And Toastmaster Sundaresan sir has used the word generosity, which means being kind or willing to help without expecting anything in return. And yeah, this is my Grammarian.
So how many of you are aware about the traditions which I read? The Christmas traditions, can you raise that? Any? No. Even I was not aware about even one single thing. But all were quite interesting. And the last country, let me see who identifies it. Do you know there's one country where Christmas celebrations start as early as September and continue till January? Clue. The country starts with the letter P.
Poland.
Portugal.
The capital is Manila.
Philippines.
Thank you.
So my general evaluated report, the meeting was started at 2:57, 2 o'clock 57 minutes. And I would like to request the VPE to just put a word in the WhatsApp group or the meeting group, just so the role players can come on time, at least 10 minutes or 15 minutes ahead of it. That's a suggestion from my end. And I think the room temperature is quite disturbing for the guests, so they came here and sat with a friend, so that can be checked. And President addressed all the dignitaries, seasoned Toastmasters, and guest was warmly welcomed. And TMoD introduced the theme of the day, introduced the general evaluator, and also she explained the meeting theme as well. And that's my report. And before ending, I would like to say, across the world there are many traditions, Christmas traditions. As I told you, Donald Duck, fried chicken, and mistletoe plant, etc. But the joy, connections, and togetherness is the same. So that's the magic of Christmas, the spirit we bring into the Toastmasters meeting every week. Thank you.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Ramya. As we come to the close of our meeting today, let's remember Christmas is not just about lights, gifts and decoration. It's also about warmth, kindness and connections. So just like our speeches today, small moments create big joys. Thank you all for bringing this joy together today. May all your days be merry, happy and blissful. I would now request all of you to vote for the best speaker, the best evaluator, the best role player, and the best tag role player. So for the guests, we had given some slips. You can make use of the slips to enter your votes. Thank you everybody. I now hand over the stage back to the President, Toastmaster Barath.
Thank you, TMoD Toastmaster Srividhya. I would like to appreciate the first time role players played by General Evaluator Toastmaster Ramya, and Grammarian role played by Toastmaster Manivel. Few seconds for guests to complete their voting. That's all.
Couldn't recollect the names of those.
We'll move into guest feedback. Can we have guest Ritvik? You can come over here and give a few words about yourself and feedback about the meeting. Can you please come over here?
Hello, so this is Ritvik here and I'm from IIT Madras. So I'm doing my BTech in engineering design. So I wanted to join Toastmasters because I wanted to improve my leadership skills. So and I thought I'm well conversant in English, and so that I don't need to join Toastmasters because I had a preconception saying that Toastmasters is just for improving a spoken English. But then I heard from people saying that it's also for developing your leadership skills, and it's not just a speaking coaching class or something like that. So I thought, why not let me try? And I thought it's just an unstructured format where just people give us speeches, and here I see there's a very built proper formal structure being followed, and I'm being I'm being jubilant about that. So about the way the structure is being followed and how the Toastmaster community, Medley Toastmaster community is building this up. So yeah, and I'm very new to this this formal structure, and I would love to be part of this and continue this journey, and I would also love to develop my leadership skills. Thank you.
Can you guest Subhash can come over here and share few feedback about the meeting.
Hi everyone. So as I told earlier, I used to come to Medley as a guest for many days. But after that, due to office commitments, I couldn't come. But I want to make use of this opportunity and improve my communication skills. So I hope I'll contribute. Well, yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. Can we have guest Mukund over here, please, for your feedback?
Well, it was really fantastic. Of course, Mr. Shanmugavel pointed out this these things are creating a lot of havoc in everyone's communications. Often we miss this. These body gestures really go a long way in audience mind, in keeping ourselves very composed while talking is a big deal for everyone, I believe. We are taken by your emotions always. Anyway, one thing that I noted is that you people are very conscious about many things, even the air conditioned stillness, how you behave, how you talk, how you see, what are all the corners to be seen. See, I think that we have to rotate our head fully. That is what one pointed out. No, you have only seen this side, you have not seen that side. Something fabulous to note all these things. See, all these things point out only one thing. It is that consciousness. How conscious you are. Something fantastic. I felt it very impressive. Thank you.
Now we move into the awards for today's meeting. And for the best speaker goes to Toastmaster Anish. Best tag role player goes to our Grammarian Toastmaster Manivel. The best evaluator goes to our distinguished Toastmaster Thomas. Best role player goes to our general evaluator, Toastmaster.
This is a hit of the Christmas cake.
Thank you all for joining. With this, the sound of this gavel, I adjourn Medley meeting number 860. Christmas meeting, so I request the members to stay back and I request our guests to accompany Toastmaster Rajasekaran for tea and snacks.